Thanks, Himika. Thank you for that. And of course, not at all. I mean, a lot of media people have been asking about, how was it, and they've been, texting, and it was really nice of them to actually ask how I was and was I safe or not. But yeah, so initially, like, I was supposed to go to All England, but unfortunately, when I landed on the 28th, at 1 p.m. I landed, and at 1:15, all flights were suspended, and we didn't know how it was, and what it was, and what the situation, was gonna be because they told us to wait for some time, and then they said the flight was delayed, and then they said the airspace was closed. So it was like, what was happening? It was like, it was very stressful at that point of time, when we were at the airport, because it was completely different at some point. Because, when I landed, and just a few hours before, my colleagues, like the doubles and some of the singles players, actually took off from Dubai. So they did transit in Dubai, and they took off from Dubai to Birmingham, and they reached around 11:45, in Birmingham. So it was just like those few hours, if I would have gone before, I mean, I would have reached. But yeah, at that point, obviously, we didn't know because, as you know, Dubai is one of the safest places, and of course, we love Dubai. But yeah, it was so unfortunate that this happened. But I think. Overall, when initially they said all the flights were suspended, we were at the airport, and we didn't know, how it was or what was going on. But we were sitting at the airport itself. But at some point, the airport guys were like, "We'll let you know," and they kept us waiting for a couple of hours. And finally, they said, "Now airspace is closed. We don't know when will it open, but for now, I think we will take you to the transit hotel." And the whole process took a lot of time because there were like n number of people, because there were different terminals, and there were almost all the flights from different countries got cancelled. So it was a chaos. So it took some time, but finally we actually got our vouchers to the hotel, and we actually got out because when we wanted to go out, the trains weren't working, and we couldn't go down. The immigration was shut. They were not allowing people to go outside the hotel, outside the airport, because it was so crowded that they just shut completely. But after some time, after a few hours, they opened, and then we finally got out, and we were going to the hotel, and I coach was actually in the airport itself. And we got a call from coach saying that there was a big sound. I don't know if it was an explosion or debris, or it was a drone or what it was, but there was a big sound, and there was a lot of smoke, and they had to run outside and take the airport authorities actually arranged transport, and they got them out, and they put them in a different hotel. So it was terrifying when we heard that, because all of a sudden you're actually sitting there, and literally like 100 meters away, there was a big sound. So obviously it is scary, right? So, and then we went to the hotel, and it was a quite a long process. But like on a daily basis, every time we've been seeing the news, and every time there was something or the other, and I could hear sounds like 5 6 times. I could hear those big noises, and it was scary. And we also got these emergency messages on our phone saying that stay indoors, stay in your hotels itself, and don't stay near to the windows. So that kind of messages. So it was terrifying. But every day, they kept saying, the airspace is shut today, the airspace is shut tomorrow. So we didn't know what was going on, because one side I was missing my tournament, the days were actually going on, and another side I was like, okay, safety is very important. But I've tried every possible way to actually go to All England, but that wasn't the case. That couldn't happen. I mean, nothing was in my hands, because all the flights to London or from every way I've tried, but nothing worked out. So I mean, at the end of the day, I feel that safety is important. And yeah, last night I actually got a flight. I got a call from the Emirates, and I think Indian consulate, general, I mean, in Dubai, Indian. I think they were very kind enough to actually accommodate a lot of Indians. They're very helpful, and also the government from here. I've been getting calls. I've been getting calls from Raksha ma'am and also Rammohan Naidu sir and also the sports minister sir. They actually called me to check on me how it was and how the situation was, and also the Badminton Association of India, Sanjay sir had called me, and yeah, from Badminton Association, a lot of people called me, and of course the media people also messaged me saying how I was I safe or not. So I think a lot of messages. So that's why I had to put that message out on the social media earlier that I was safe, and because it was terrifying because we could hear a lot of sounds. But good that the Emirates actually got in touch, took our details, and we actually got calls, and we immediately rushed to the airport, and we got our tickets, and then we are back to India. But I must say, hats off to the Indian Consulate General in Dubai. At the same time, our government also coordinated very well, and I think got a lot of Indians, including me, out from that place, and we're safe. Here we landed safely, and by God's grace, everything has been good.
Thank you, Sindhu. The last few days have been really traumatizing. So just going ahead, the All India, All England, sorry, All England Championships, they could not take part in. So since it's a global crisis which is beyond the control of anybody, how do you think is the BWF looking at the seating? Are they going to penalize you for this not taking part, or how are the rankings going to get affected?
Yeah. I've actually mailed the BWF. I've told them my situation because from day one I've been updating them that this is my situation. I am I'm trying my best to see what is the possible way that I can get out or come there. I mean, but the BWF also was like, we understand the situation and we're looking into it, is what they said. And initially, they wanted to get as much as information that they can because some of the players from Japan also were stuck, but then they somehow could find another way and they could actually come. So I think I'm the only one, like, from Dubai, from the UAE side, where I couldn't go anywhere or come back. So yeah, they said they'll definitely take into consideration, and the penalty wise, they will waive it off because they understand the situation, which is fair enough. So regarding the tournament, I told them, and they said they would come back to me. Like, what is the way, or how do we go with it? So that way, they said they'll come back to me, but they understood the situation, and which is really good, and it is a genuine situation that where I'm stuck at. So yeah, I mean, it's sad
How
I couldn't play, but yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I think safety is first. So yeah.
so there are a lot of questions. How early do we see you back again? Is Swiss Open going to be a realistic target for you?
Definitely yes, but yeah, like the flights are full, like full, and everything is via Dubai, and I'm trying every other way, like different ways to actually go to Swiss, but all the flights are really full for like right now. I'm trying every day, and let's see what will happen because the war is still going on, and it's quite yeah, it's a very sensitive matter. So let's hope for the best because right now the flights are full. I can't actually tell you anything because nothing is in my hands. I'm trying every way to actually go out there and play for the country. But yeah.
There's a very philosophical question which has come from NDTV. They're asking every tense match teaches something to a player, and were you scared in this situation which you went through in the past few days? And do you think this experience will help you in your lifetime going ahead in your career and life?
Well, definitely, yes, maybe. I think it obviously there was a lot of stress and it was scary and it was, yeah. I think the only thing maybe, yeah, to stay calm. I know that's not the ideal situation where you say, yeah, we are calm, but we're not inside. Actually, it is very stressful, but I think it is an experience, I must say, and I hope it's the first and the last experience like this way. But yeah, I think we were calm. The whole team was calm, and actually, there were a lot of Indians. In fact, they were coordinating, and they were like talking to us, and they were like, "I hope everything will be fine." People who are coming from the US to India, they were also stuck. So it was good to actually have these conversations because we were staying in the same hotel and there were a lot of Indians. and they were like, we're sorry that you couldn't go to a tournament or you couldn't travel. So it's like it's good to actually have a conversation where they also know what's going on, and they're like trying to keep you strong, and you're also trying to keep them strong in a way. So yeah.
हे आहे देशातील नंबर 1 न्यूज नेटवर्क आणि आपण पाहत आहात TV9 मराठी, एकमेव.